Greetings, Paladin. I am your trainer, Darren Lightblade. I am here to teach you the secrets of Nightfall, a prized weapon that empowers and supports all casters in your raid, maximizing their potential. It has a chance-on-hit ability that applies a debuff to the target, increasing all spell damage dealt by 15% for 5 seconds. It can be crafted by a master axesmith who is exalted with the Thorium Brotherhood. But to truly harness the power of Nightfall and unleash its maximum potential, you must master
Seal twisting.
Alright, that transition might have been a bit over the top. But anyways, before I introduce you to the concept of seal twisting, let's talk about Seal of Righteousness. Seal of Righteousness is a buff that deals holy damage upon successful melee hits. But here's the thing, the applied holy damage is treated as an additional hit, capable of triggering Nightfall's ability. However, it's important to note that using Judgment to unleash Seal of Righteousness does not count as an extra hit. Therefore, it is important to avoid judging Seal of Righteousness. Ranks 1 to 3 have a spell coefficient of 0.18, while ranks 4 to 8 have a spell coefficient of 0.12. That means that ranks 1 to 3 give the most bang for your buck. Next up, let's talk Seal of Command. Seal of Command also counts as an additional hit, enabling it to trigger Nightfall's ability. It does more damage than Seal of Righteousness, but it is not guaranteed to trigger on a successful melee hit. But unlike Seal of Righteousness, it does indeed count as an extra hit when using Judgment to unleash Seal of Command. Therefore, it is preferable to judge Seal of Command. But what is this seal twisting anyways?
Well,
Whenever you switch from one seal to another, the effect from the previous seal will remain active for 0.4 seconds, creating a 0.4 second window at the end of your swing timer. If timed correctly, you can benefit from the effects of 2 seals as you strike your enemy. Now, let's see that in action. The Paladin is about to strike their enemy. Note that Seal of Righteousness is currently active, and that the swing timer is approaching the 0.4 second window. Now, the Paladin switched to Seal of Command, and both seals are active within the 0.4 second window. As a result, damage from both seals is successfully applied, along with a melee hit. Now, let's move on to Openers. On bosses, your opener is typically Seal of Wisdom, followed by Judgment, and then promptly activating either Seal of Command or Seal of Righteousness. In dungeons, you can judge Seal of the Crusader. Execute this opener before landing a melee hit. Here's how that appears in-game. The Paladin is about to engage in combat. Note that Seal of Wisdom is active. The Paladin is about to use Judgment. Now, note that the Paladin immediately activated Seal of Righteousness after having used Judgment, as seen by the applied damage, and note that the Wisdom debuff is now on the enemy. On trash fights, which are fast-paced, you want to go for having Seal of Righteousness activated prior to engaging in combat. Then, swiftly switch to Seal of Command right before striking the enemy. After hitting the enemy, immediately judge Seal of Command. By performing this sequence, Nightfall has the potential to trigger up to 4 times. Here's what that sequence looks like. The Paladin approaches an enemy target. Note that Seal of Righteousness is already active. Now, note that the Paladin immediately activates Seal of Righteousness before striking the enemy. Note that both seals are active. As a result of both seals being active, damage from both of them is applied. Furthermore, Seal of Command is now ready to be judged. Lastly, take note that the damage from Judgment was applied with a melee hit. Now, let's witness that once again in real time.
shall we? Ready?
Oh, dude, 4 strength, 4 stam, leather belt, level 18. Ah!
So, to sum up, you can stack up to 2 seals within the 0.4 second window with a melee hit and judge either before or after the melee hit. Here's a useful macro for switching between Seal of Righteousness and Seal of Command. You can customize the macro by adding reset equals X and replacing X with the desired number of seconds before the macro resets if it hasn't been used. You can find these macros in the description. Now, let's quickly go over gear. So, since you wield Nightfall on bosses and it's an axe, you will need 9% hit. Depending on your gear, you will most likely get additional hit percent from your cloak, necklace, and rings. However, as you progress through the tier sets and acquire 4 pieces of tier 0.5, 5 pieces of tier 2, full tier 2.5, or even a PvP set, additional gear slots such as bracers, belt, gloves, or even trinkets become available to further stack hit percent. Speaking of trinkets, you should always have Hand of Justice equipped, since it synergizes with Nightfall. On bosses, you should use a trinket that increases attack speed, such as Scrolls of Blinding Light, or even better in long encounters, Kiss of the Spider. On trash, you can swap the weapon speed increasing trinket with a chance on hit trinket. Now, since you seal twist, the mana reduction provided by Libram of Hope is unparalleled compared to any other Libram. Additionally, since you rarely get to judge Seal of the Crusader,
Libram of Hope.
And now, let's talk weapons. Even though you will be wielding Nightfall on most bosses, it's advised to use other weapons for trash encounters. In general, you just want something that hits hard. However, it's worth noting that weapons with a chance on hit ability are also incredibly useful. Even Ejeclic's Crusher is a welcomed addition to a seal-twisting Paladin's arsenal. Regardless, your 2 top choices will be Sulfuras, Hand of Ragnaros, or Might of Menethil. As we near the end of this class, let's quickly discuss Spec. You can opt for Improved Retribution Aura, which is incredibly useful for AoE farming. However, the downside is that you have to always carry around Carrot on a Stick, riding boots, and riding gloves, which take up 3 bag spaces. If you prefer to enchant stamina or agility on your boots and free up 3 bag spaces, you can instead choose Pursuit of Justice. Now, some might ask, what about Improved Seal of Righteousness? Doesn't it synergize with Nightfall? And the answer to that is yes, but it only increases the base damage of Seal of Righteousness and does not apply to your increased spell power. Therefore, it is advised to simply go for Divine Strength. Congratulations on mastering Nightfall and the art of seal twisting. I wish you luck in mastering your newfound knowledge. Thanks for watching.